Hi everybody, this is Bené Kent, aka Mistress Inked, with another Proving Mormonism Wrong, one video at a time. How you doing today? This video is going to be on the Missouri Prophecies. This is part 2 of the Failed Prophecies of Joseph Smith series. So there's an I'm doing the Missouri Prophecies as one video because they're all pertaining to Missouri. In the history of the Mormon Church, Joseph Smith tried to make kind of like a Zion or just a gathering place for all the saints to live in peace and harmony. It was basically like an 1800s version of a hippie commune. So, and of course, they all failed. All of the prophecies failed. So I'm going to try and get through these as quickly as I possibly can, because there's quite a few of them. Starting with March 7th, 1831. The reference can be found in Doctrine and Covenants, or D&C. 45, chapter 45, verses 64 through 74. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's just the reference. The saints are to gather riches and to purchase an inheritance to be called New Jerusalem, also called Zion, a place of refuge and safety where the wicked will not come, and against which the wicked will refuse to battle. The righteous will come from all nations and sing songs of everlasting joy. The wicked will fear and stand afar off and tremble, and all nations shall be afraid. July 18th, 1831, D&C, chapter 57, verses 1 through 3. Missouri is named as the land of consecrated. Let me try that over again. Missouri is named as the land consecrated for the gathering of the saints, and the place for the city of Zion, and the building of a temple at Independence. It will be purchased by the saints for an everlasting inheritance. 1 month later, August 13th, 1831, in D&C chapter 62, verses 1 and 6. The faithful will be preserved and rejoice in Missouri. I, the Lord, promise the faithful and cannot lie. Later on, September 22nd and 23rd, 1832, D&C 84, verses 2 through 5, as well as verse 31. Zion will be built with its temple at Independence in this generation. Now that's this generation. That means the generation that was living in 1832. This generation shall not pass away, until the temple will be built upon the spot. Orson Pratt in 1870 reiterated the prophecy, which is in the Journal of Discourses, volume 9, page 71, also page 10, or volume 10, page 334, also volume 13, page 362, and insisted that it will come to pass within the generation living in 1832. Now, January 4th, 1833, this is recorded in the History of the Church, volume 1, pages 315 and 316. Joseph Smith says, by the authority of Jesus Christ, that not many years shall pass away before the wicked of this generation, that means the generation that lived in the 1830s, will be swept from off the face of the land, and the lost 10 tribes will be gathered to Missouri, and that there are those now living upon the earth whose eyes shall not be closed in death until they see all these things which I have spoken fulfilled. Oh, sorry. August 2nd, 1833, so this is several months later. Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 97, verses 18 through 20. Promise that if the saints are obedient, the city of Zion, which is in Missouri, will prosper and become glorious, great and terrible, honored by the nations of the earth. Zion cannot fall or be moved out of its place. Now, with all this section of Missouri Prophecies, we're going to talk about the fulfillment. Just to talk about the history. This is all history, of course. Mormons were driven out of Independence and from all of their settlements in Missouri in 1839. The temple lot is not owned by the Mormon Church. No one living in the generation when the prophecy was made is still alive. Duh. The wicked of that generation were no more swept from off the face of the land than were their contemporary Mormons, which is contemporary means the ones today, living today. The lost 10 tribes have not been gathered to Missouri. Nothing in all the prophecies has been fulfilled, even though the majority of the saints steadfastly followed Joseph and were faithful. Okay, now we're going to continue. October 12th, 1833, reference D&C, chapter 100, verses 13 through 15. Zion in Missouri will be chastened for a little season, but then redeemed. December 10th, 1833, this is History of the Church, Volume 1, page 455. Joseph Smith tells the saints that they should retain their lands in Missouri and seek legal redress against their enemies. If they should not obtain it, God will avenge them with 10,000 of his saints, and all their adversaries would be destroyed. And then for the fulfillment, Mormons lost all of their lands in Missouri. They did seek legal redress, but were unsuccessful. Their enemies were not destroyed. Their wrongs were not avenged. The Mormons were driven out of Missouri. December 16th, 1833, D&C 101, verses 17 through 20. Zion, Missouri, shall not be moved out of its place. The saints will receive their inheritance there, and there is no other place than Missouri appointed by God for the gathering of the saints. February 14th, 1834, D&C 103, verses 5 through 7. All of the saints will hearken to the counsel of the Lord. They shall, for I have decreed it, begin to prevail against mine enemies from this very hour, and they shall never cease to prevail upon the kingdoms of the world are subdued under my feet, and the earth is given unto the saints to possess it forever and ever. In verse 15, the redemption of Zion must needs come by power. God will raise up a man like Moses, namely Joseph Smith, who will enable them to possess the goodly land. In verse 20, Joseph Smith is to organize Zion's camp, which is a Mormon army, and relieve the distress of the saints in Missouri. And in verse 36, all victory and glory is brought to pass unto you through your diligence, faithfulness, and prayers of faith. Spring of 1834, Joseph Smith prophesies to the members of Zion's camp that within 3 years, which would make it 1837, they should march upon Jackson County, and there should not be a dog to open his mouth against them. Really? Fighting against dogs? Really? Now this is found in the Reed Peck manuscript, page 3. It's cited in Tanner's book, The Mormon Kingdom, chapter 1, page 4. Fulfillment. Zion's camp was organized but utterly failed, and it disbanded in July. So basically it was only a few months. Cholera decimated them, and the campaign did not restore the saints to their homes. They did not return as Zion's camp. The Mormons continued to encounter fierce opposition. The Mormons never prevailed against their enemies. Milton R. Hunter, in his book, The Gospel Through the Ages, page 282, talks about the Reed Peck manuscript, page 3, on History in the Church. Again, all this is cited in the Tanner book called The Mormon Kingdom. June 22nd, 1834, Doctrine and Covenants, 105, verses 13 through 15. The Lord says regarding Missouri, I will fight your battles, the destroyer I have sent forth to destroy and lay waste mine enemies. And not many years hence they shall not be left to pollute mine heritage, and to blaspheme my name upon the lands which I have consecrated for the gathering together of my saints. Talking about fulfillment. The Missouri opponents of the Mormons were not destroyed, obviously, but have remained in Missouri and polluted it. The Mormons were driven out of Missouri within 5 years. August 16th, 1834. History of the Church, Volume 2, page 145. Joseph Smith says that the Spirit of the Lord tells him that the saints should be ready to move to Jackson County, Missouri. On September 11th, 1836, which is the appointed time for the redemption of Zion. Fulfillment. If Zion was redeemed in 1836, it was unredeemed in 1839 when the Mormons abandoned Missouri. Like, duh. Yeah. Now, this last thing we're going to talk about is the Far West Temple. April 26th, 1838. Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 115. Excuse me. Revelation concerning the city of Far West, Missouri, and the building of a temple there. God commands the temple to be built. The church will be gathered to Zion, which is in Missouri, which will be for a defense and for a refuge from the storm. Work on the temple is to commence in the summer of 1838, with construction to begin April 26, 1839, with work to continue diligently until it shall be finished. from the cornerstone thereof to the top thereof, until there shall not anything remain that is not finished. This is in verse 12. Verse 17, I say unto you, it is my will that the city of far west should be built up speedily by the gathering of the saints. Now, its fulfillment. The temple cornerstone was laid, but no more work was ever done, and the temple is still not completed. Far west was abandoned by the Mormons soon after this revelation. It would appear that the building of the far west temple was not the work of God, since God's work cannot be frustrated. For proof of that, take a look at Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 3, verse 3. And I've mentioned it before in the first video, where it says God's work cannot and will not be frustrated. So there you have it. That is all of the Missouri prophecies, talking about Joseph Smith's commune. So, like I said, it's my goal. Prove Mormonism wrong, one video at a time. There's still a lot more prophecies to go through, so we'll see you in part 3. Bye. I love you.